Right, let me get my blueberries in. No blueberries in the fridge this morning.
Was there not?
Poor
Standard
Kieran.
slipping.
There were, but they were from the 6th of February. I mean, how out of date's that?
It's not me, that.
I'll leave some for everyone else, because I think that's enough.
You need a bowl, don't you, really?
I do need a bowl, but, you know what I mean, if Roy asks for a bowl, you give him a bowl, wouldn't you? I mean, you would.
Do you want a bowl?
Walking around a bit cocky with your beanie hat on, Liverpool won the league.
This is Righty got me this.
Did he?
Yeah, there you go.
Brand placement.
I'm not saying we won the league, though.
Were you at City?
No, didn't go.
All good? You okay, lad? Using your adverts?
No. Eating blueberries.
You're getting sponsored by them now? Keith,
This episode of Stick to Football is brought to you by blueberries. They're full of antioxidants. What's the name?
Cheers, mate. What's with the...
Beanie hat.
Yeah,
That's what I said.
Yeah, what?
You've noticed it as well. Even
Right,
your mate,
he noticed
even
it, it's on his head.
Even your Liverpool mates noticed it.
Righty got it
You
in.
didn't notice it.
What I mean, not noticed it. It's like a bit of a
It's like that fella from... was it Coronation Street or Emmerdale?
Benny.
What's he from?
Benny from
Emmerdale.
Crossroads.
Crossroads.
Hi, guys.
Okay.
Oh,
Hi, Jill.
Hello.
this way.
You know what I was thinking about?
Do you coordinate?
soap?
Do you coordinate now before you come in? Like, do you?
I know, actually, I've just realised
Do you
that.
remember Brookside?
Yeah. I used to
Yeah.
like Brookside, yeah.
So yeah, what soaps have we got now? Emmerdale's still going.
Brookside was
Emmerdale, EastEnders, Coronation Street, Hollyoak.
That's righty.
The best soaps was Dallas.
What's that?
Dallas.
Righty, they're giving me shit for the hat.
Channel was it on?
No, man,
me
your
shit
hat
for
looks
hat.
good. Who gave you shit?
These two,
Who gave him shit for?
honestly.
Who gave you shit, Kes?
These two.
Who gave him shit about his hat?
Yeah.
Why are you talking about his
Me
hat
and
looks
Carragher
cool on
asked
him?
why he's wearing a hat.
No,
Why
call
are you
him
asking
Benny.
that for? Both of you don't want to wear hats.
one.
What are you talking- Somebody wants to wear hats.
Have you not got a hat on?
I don't feel like one today.
He's had his head.
Had a nice shave from Layla. Have you seen this? Have you seen this?
Yeah.
Did you see the Cunha video? Because I could burst into tears sometimes, but I've watched this video.
Oh, is it the Wolves?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I swear it's so beautiful. Have you seen it?
No.
Rod, watch this little boy. Right, watch. Gary,
Don't
get him.
forget this, okay?
Listen to how he speaks to him. Look at this little boy.
It's like this?
He wants him to do
Yeah,
this.
it's very of course. I like it. This
Yeah, he kept Cunha, yeah. And then watch.
Oh, that's so
But wait a minute. Goes back.
Back to visit him.
Hey, how are you?
Easy Junior.
Ah, nice to meet you. Are you good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Cunha's
can go in?
voice.
Can you come in?
Yeah, thank you. Excuse me. With some gifts for you. You need to see if you like it. Yeah? We can sit here. I bring you some new things. I know you have already one.
They don't do enough of it. They don't highlight enough of this.
Do you know what? Don't footballers do good stuff?
This is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Just be, honestly, you've got to watch that.
Everyone slags
You know
football.
the thing is that this is what I'm saying about it. You know when we have to do it, especially when you remember we have to do that at Christmas, when you go to the hospitals and that was one of the most harrowing times because you know that they're really sick.
Yeah.
But like honestly, it makes you realise how fortunate you are now.
That's lovely.
What football can give.
Do you know what was lovely last night? The Palace's last goal, the ex-Arsenal who scored.
Eddie.
Did you see the players' reaction to it? It was beautiful, wasn't it?
You know what it is?
I know, they obviously knew how much it meant
I like
to him.
Nketiah as well.
Yeah, well, listen, whatever. Yeah, listen,
yeah,
of
why
course.
wouldn't you?
But you could see he's been struggling. He's gone to a new club. It's not happened for him. And that was the fourth goal. So the game was already over. But the reaction of the players was beautiful,
It's
wasn't it?
nice because they know,
Yeah.
you know, as a forward, especially you go in there, he's come from Arsenal.
Beautiful.
Like, he's gone there from, like, the Palace fans are saying, oh, what have we done, what have we bought? I know that he's capable of something, but he's somewhere in himself, he's got to find it and get it out there. So when you see the players
That was brilliant.
celebrate with him
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
they want it for him as well because they
It
know
was
if he
proper
gets to that
lovely.
kind of, that form, he's going to help them.
It was lovely.
Really nice, really nice. Hang on a minute, it's why. Where's me man? Look.
He should be still at Arsenal.
I've got 3 badges here. I've only got 3 badges. Who's going to take...
What are they?
What are they?
You know, Rockmont, my team in Ireland, 100 years old. Nev, you've been to it. Jamie, you've been to it.
Oh.
Buddy, I'll get you one of them. Wear short one.
Okay.
No, yeah, you can have it. Go on, you
No,
can have it.
Jill. No, yeah.
Yeah, I'll get you one.
Right.
100 years
just
old?
take wherever you can, my
Rockmont.
friend.
Oh, Rockmount.
Rockmont,
Oh,
team
not
we went to
Cove.
visit. No, Rockmont.
That was the-
Over 100 years old a few years ago. Opposite Rockmont this year.
Is this the pub when we went in? There was like the little cupboard.
No, that's... Oh, yeah. Yeah, Rockmont.
The guys with the green blazers on.
Yeah, who looked after us, yeah. Rockmont.
Can I have a
100
look
years
at one,
old.
seeing as I can't
Yeah.
have one? Just have a look at what
I
they look
obviously
like.
didn't get invited. Your road trips do look fun, though.
That's
They
nice,
do
man.
look
Yeah, that's
fun.
well done.
There you
Oh,
go.
lovely.
It's nice, eh?
Don't have a
Let me see
look.
it, Jill.
Have you got one on, right?
That's nice, eh?
Only had 3 of them.
AFC.
There you go.
One. I'm back in Cork next week. I'll get some more. I'll get one for me and you.
Yeah, make
I'll
sure.
get some for the staff.
Right. Little Adidas CP company collaboration.
It looks a little bit like one of those.
Every time I wear something, I get
You know
steak.
what's
I
good with
can't
this?
win.
I know
That
it's a
does look
fashion. It's turned
nice.
into a fashion. It's but this is
collab. A little collab.
It's like a little baby collab. But
Cold.
I like that.
It's a collab,
That's
isn't it?
really nice. I like what
When
Adidas
I
has
sent
done.
you that,
Instagram, no.
the phrase.
That's, if I wore that, you'd be going, oh, look at him with his Adidas.
Oh,
phone
here
di-
we go.
My phone died last week.
Give it here.
It just
We've finally got a new,
It completely,
new
completely
screen,
fell
a
out.
new phone. Roy Keane.
my phone just died.
It was on its last
Couldn't
legs,
get my
though.
stuff, all my information.
And that's
Is
what-
switched
that explains
off?
why he's not
Switch
texted me
that
back
off.
for a few weeks.
Yeah.
On the side bit.
No, you have to press both.
Oh, we just switch it off. Can you switch it
Yes.
off? No, not all together off. Just
You're
turn the
right, Gav.
volume
I'm
off.
good.
Don't switch it off
Yeah,
altogether.
because
Okay.
you know when your voice went
Gravelly.
you know what when you left, you're gutted you left. But like when his voice went,
Oh, it went
and that's
through.
when you should have started singing Morrissey, or you should have started singing something because your voice would have been ready
I
for it.
know, my voice went completely.
Where? When? At your...
Last week, yeah.
Oh, your birthday was so good.
Lovely. Well done.
It was so
Hey.
good.
You happy, girl? Or did you feel under pressure? How did you feel?
Are you glad it's done?
Yeah, I'm glad it's done now, I think, yeah. Yeah, it was. I enjoyed the 2 days.
Lovely.
Gal,
What's the highlight? I mean, the
When it was
cacao.
over?
you know
Oh,
something?
cacao was
Cacao.
funny.
You like the cacao?
Yeah.
Did you seriously?
I like bits of it.
You know what? The thing with the cacao, it's one of those that has to go for a while for you to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd say about the guests, people you said you've known a long time and you wanted to be there. Like, Righty and Jill were there. Did you feel you had to invite them because of the
No, because
podcast?
he loves
stuff?
them.
He doesn't know the two of you.
Roy, you've
part of
got
the
to
family.
remember. He got rid of all his friends, didn't he?
At 18.
Yeah, but he doesn't know Jill and
Yeah, no,
Righty.
does.
I mean,
Yeah.
I hate that they were there, that he felt he had to bring them.
You know what? At least we were dancing. You never got up once.
Righty.
I was trying
You
to
are
get him
so
off.
annoying.
You know what's annoying with him?
Oh,
You know what's annoying
God.
with him? He's sitting there, he's going like this with them, dancing on the chair.
Oh, Righty, you were so annoying. You were so annoying.
How was I annoying?
You know, you go to a party, but some people don't want to. I enjoy watching people dance.
I never ever once. I never once.
I like watching my family dance.
I never
Like
once
you,
said
you,
to
you've
him-
had your say. But
I
there's,
never once said to him, come and dance.
there's other people
Never.
not dancing, and people come up to you going, oh, dance. You go, there's other people not dancing. And listen to this guy here for 2 days. Right, he's like this on the hike. Oh, my knee, oh, my knee, oh, my knee. Then Prince comes on. I thought Michael Jackson's in the house. Right, he's dancing. I'm going, you couldn't walk for 2 days.
We
Hey,
did
Prince got me
12
up.
hours dancing
was brilliant.
over 2
And
days.
that's fine, but what's wrong with people who don't want to dance?
You just look a bit moody. You
No, I'm not
Yeah, you
moody. I
did.
was loving it. Christ's sake, I'm sick of it. People going, oh, come on, dance. I don't want to fucking dance. I danced for years and people going, get off the dance floor. No, I don't want to dance. People saying, get on the dance floor.
You know what,
Dance
though?
for years.
I haven't
no.
danced for years.
No, no, I dance at home.
You know
You
what?
were so
Isn't it?
annoying.
But there's other people not dancing. No one was going over to them. You didn't go to anybody else, Jill.
Yeah, everybody else got up. I
That's
reckon.
No, not everybody else got up. No. Hold on a
I
second.
thought everyone got up who needed to.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think there was enough dancing done by
thanks.
the Keane family.
Thank you.
Thank you. Honestly, the Keane family were well represented on the dance floor. Very well represented on the dance floor.
Let's leave that alone. That's still going on.
Right, how annoying was he though on the quiz? You know, obviously when you're in the
God.
teams for
Yeah,
the
but
quiz.
that's what happens with him. He takes over everything and turns
Yeah,
and
you
makes you
did.
feel so useless and shouts at you. Then they get the answer, and then he says, "See, I told you. That's what I thought."
What
it
was the question about the car? And it was like, was it 60 million, 70 million, or
Thank you.
80
And I
million?
said-
We said,
and I said
70,
70 million.
and you were going, it's 60, it's 60. So I was like, right, let's just put Roy's answer down because else he's going to kick off. So we'll put 60 down. And then he started shouting at us when he said 70. I was like, yeah, and he went, well, obviously, Jill, I didn't add the VAT. He was like, did you not put the VAT on? And I'm like, you can't be wrong.
How many
Brilliant though, girl.
How many more podcasts have we got left?
Before what? Before
the end of the season, yeah.
About probably about 7 or 8.
7 or 8.
Yeah.
Why are you leaving?
Not enough.
Oh, just abuse.
It's a beauty.
I had a great time.
Brilliant
Absolutely
time.
brilliant
It
time.
was good, it was good.
Everyone can go on the dance
Well done,
floor.
girl.
And the quiz, you're useless at quizzes. Jill, you talk like you're 11 going, I don't remember that, I don't remember this.
I'm 12 years younger than
No, but
you.
you didn't answer any questions.
Yes, I did.
And Righty was in the corner with his bottle of wine with his wife. You're going, Righty, join in. You're like, you're there, but you're not there. You know, like.
I mean, I wasn't there. I was
You're like, I'm
answering
too
the question.
cool. You didn't answer any questions.
Tables
You
all the
didn't
way
answer
up
any
there. I was at this
questions.
side, I answered the question.
You didn't answer any questions.
And
Who got Neville Chamberlain? Did you get Neville Chamberlain?
What was that one for?
For the Neville, obviously. The question for Gary Neville, so the Prime Minister with Neville. Did you get Neville Chamberlain?
You were wrong when he was there. That's it.
our
See?
quiz
That's
game
what he
was
did.
the best as well.
No,
I
Julian,
reckon.
that's where you drag it. And honestly.
Second guy.
Yeah, I thought I had a really good time, but
What's good on your table? He's just too competitive.
At least James was, I love James. James one of those guys on a dance floor with his drink, and it doesn't matter who's in the, he'll do any move. There was one move Jamie could do in this movie. Like.
I was going through that goal I scored at about 18 against Aston Villa, celebrating.
Brilliant,
What was,
brilliant
it,
girl.
what was the song Piano Man when you were kicking off with the band?
I know,
going,
I know.
You can't look up the lyrics.
Tell you what, Jim, you're very critical, aren't you? I know. Good. The band were excellent.
Then people
No,
at
the
a
band
party
worked when
Yeah.
they-
I know they were.
remember everything that's happened. You know, you wake up the next. Oh, remember? Oh, you said. Oh, remember
No, but
that?
it was funny.
You know that one? You go. Oh, get home.
Yeah, but
it
yeah,
was
avoid
funny.
Jill.
Yeah.
Same with Nev, and there was other Ben. You know, people walk around with a glass of wine, and obviously I study people, right? I take in things. I used to play midfield. No, I have to watch things. I'm a midfielder. You expect danger.
Head on a swivel.
Who's going to kick off? Who's going to try and pull somebody? Whatever. Who's watching? I watch people. There was people walking home with a glass of wine for 2 days. The same glass of wine. They weren't even drinking. They were like, oh, aren't I cool? And I'm like, drink it. You know, people weren't... Jill wasn't drinking.
No, it got
a glass of
topped up.
wine and you were... What?
It was.
It wasn't getting topped up. I was watching you.
It was.
To be honest, gal, we
wish I had
we
the
never
same
wanted
one.
for anything. Yeah. It's brilliant, gal.
Well, you know
It
the
was
band.
really good.
Are they close friends of yours?
Was it what the
no, they were very good.
Yeah.
the Bruce
They were very
Springsteen?
good.
What the Bruce Springsteen guy?
No, the Irish band.
The
Yeah,
Irish
yeah.
band.
Picture this.
Yeah,
Picture
yeah,
I
this.
love
Picture this.
picture
They were
this.
singing, but they were looking at the phone. And I was thinking, I was thinking, I know it's not their song. But
Yeah, that was just a couple of ballad things at the end, wasn't
Because
it?
we asked
Probably-
them for
Yeah.
we asked them for what was it called?
A live lounge. I think we asked them to do a live lounge.
No, we asked
They
them
got
for
the
songs
guitar
that
out.
didn't obviously.
Yeah.
No, I mean it's fair enough, isn't it? It wasn't in the set, was it?
Yeah. Do you know, the security dragged Joe, so that was all right.
Yeah, his wife. His wife.
Yeah, that's sorry, that was your wife.
Billy Joel, Billy Joel.
But it was
No,
lovely,
but it
Nev.
was
Yeah, your
great.
family, you should be proud.
Beautiful, Nev.
Really nice.
Thank you.
Saying that was freezing up there, wasn't it?
That cold
was
water.
I didn't warm up till
You did
Thursday.
the cold water,
It
didn't
was
you?
so
That's why
cold.
the lead singer, did you see the size of his coat? The lead singer.
Yeah. And no wonder you were dancing
Didn't know
all
what
night.
you were going to say then.
Chubby snake. Jesus.
Hey, no wonder you were dancing to keep warm. It was cold, wasn't it?
I'm saying
Was there
that
any
cold
benefit from
water.
that cold water?
Oh, yeah.
You know something? You know what I've done as well, Jane? Because the water was so cold, when I went in, I cut my toe. And I didn't feel it until we warmed up. It was terrible, right on the nail, cut it right there.
It didn't bother you when
Cold.
Prince came on, did it?
To be honest, when Prince comes on, I had to do my bit.
I tell you, were like your all days playing for Palace, where I saw you sprinting.
You like my moves?
You were good.
You rock you.
Do you see my moves, Jill?
You were very good.
I didn't want to say anything.
Oh, there would be. Jill thinks everything you do is good, isn't it?
Just because she's like my sis.
He's a guy who holds the ball up and there's people
Carragher,
trying to
you
run in.
can't plan on one player being fit and your whole eggs in one basket. I'm sorry, that is not right.
Tony Adams was this, Tony Adams was that. Yeah,
was.
because he was a fighter.
If Bruno's not there, United are in the relegation places.
It's an absolute mess. The club has run out of cash.
It's like they scammed Man United.
I think he's a good player, but I don't know if he's a good captain.
You said that hierarchy would fall away as soon as Klopp went.
No,
you did?
I generally think that FSG aren't as popular with Liverpool fans.
Because you need social media, they're absolute cranks.
Oh my God.
Liverpool need a striker. Arsenal need a striker. Why aren't they buying them? Because they're not out there.
James is now monitoring your every move.
You can't win, James.
Liverpool, have they won the league? Of course.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
You know something, being in second, it sounds very negative, me saying that, but you have to look at what they're doing in February, what they've done up to this point, a great start there to the season. People saying, it's an easy start they've had, apart from Forest. But they've done everything how you'd expect.
Not been
them to
tested
do
yet,
up to
have
this
they?
point.
No, I didn't play anyone.
You know, it's like, for me, with Slot especially, what he's done, especially with those three guys, with Verge, with Trent and with Salah, quietening that noise, even when people were trying to bring the noise up, to steady it like that and then still march into it like this, you have to say that they're easily in prime position.
You know, because I haven't mentioned this before. I was thinking about, you just mentioned the Forest game. And the Forest game came really early in the season. Really, you know, it's one of those results where you think, oh. And don't forget, under Klopp, Liverpool never went like sort of years without losing at home. So you're thinking, oh. And I think a game that was really important, nothing to do with the league. They played AC Milan away.
Yeah, a few days later.
A few days later, they were getting beat 1-0 after. I think AC Milan scored within 3 or 4 minutes, and it was that thing of like they ended up winning. I think it was 3-1, 2-1 or 3-1. And I just look back at that game, sort of now because you've just mentioned Forest, and thinking. That was a big moment for the manager, that. In terms, you know, if you go lose at home to Forest, I don't know if Milan might have been the first game of the champion, you lose away, you're getting beat 1-0. I think that was probably a massive turning point, that AC Milan game away from home. It's still, they're not the AC Milan of old, but it's still the San Siro, AC Milan, you know, a big game. Yeah. So that was probably a big game.
And you know what as well, they've got like the free players as well. I mentioned Virgil, obviously you have to mention Gravenberch, but we're looking at Mo Salah having I think it's one of the greatest seasons ever.
He's just absolutely incredible. He's definitely been my favourite player of the season. Did you think it was crazy how City set up against them with Foden as the 9?
Well, Foden was poor anyway, wasn't he? Whatever it is.
He hasn't had a good season, has he?
He's not. He's really off it. Even his first few touches, proper bouncing off him. Oh, but City are way off it, aren't they? They are way off it.
Yeah, I think he was good in there at, like, obviously keep the first 10, 15 minutes. I thought, this could be all right. But obviously, because we're missing Haaland, so they thought we're going to avoid that. Van Dijk put Foden there, obviously, just to add a number. But then when they were, like, he was coming out, they then missed the runner in behind. You know, I think with Matheus, should have made it.
Maybe. Yeah, but then a lot of time then he was kind of chasing back a little. But isn't it amazing? You look at Arsenal, we talk about Arsenal having a striker, obviously Haaland's struggling. And these big clubs who spend fortunes haven't got a backup striker. Yeah. Isn't it bizarre? Yeah. When we played at United or you played Liverpool, you always had 4 or 5 really decent strikers. Some were squad players that would come in and do a job. They wouldn't be your main men. And City are going into a big game and City are trying to get back in the race with top 4 where it might be. And they've got no recognised striker for a big club. We've spent 4. Isn't it mad? Arsenal are playing the other against West Ham. They've no at your whole football club, no recognised striker. For all your planning and recruitment, people must be sitting there going, just what happens to our main striker?
Especially when you look at how they just went, once Moose came, they went, bam, just went and got him. You've got to go and get that person. You've got to go and get that person. Like, look at us. Like 3 years we've needed a striker, 5 windows.
I actually thought Foden was doing okay in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw Slot come down to the actual touchline and say to Van Dijk, go in.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, we saw. Yeah,
and he literally followed him in the next time. And it was almost from that point on, it was almost like he never saw him again because he then started going deeper, obviously beyond the midfield. And that, I thought the first 10 minutes, I thought, oh, actually, it probably just caught him out a little bit. And obviously they played. But
City did get into good positions.
Yeah,
they did put some balls across the box. You weren't looking at City going, they're all over the place, they're not at it. But you're going, but again, them balls into the middle of the box, you're going, but there's no physical presence.
And the thing is, even with Docker was doing well on that side. But he was doing exactly the same thing. He was going to come in and try to... And they just had that blocked off, whether it was Konate or... And it seemed like that was their only avenue.
The position we were in the studio, we were right on top of that. And every time Doku went to that side, and then you'd look up, and Van Dijk and Carragher just stood there, and there was just...
But the work rate of Mo Salah to get back in the eye line of Doku, so every time he got past Trent, he's then got Mo Salah there, and everybody always looks at when teams are doing well going forward. But Liverpool, the recovery to get back... I think that's been one of them.
Is Mo Salah nor one of them strikers? I know he's getting the plaudits now, but over the last few years, was there still a few little doubts about him? And he had his little fallout. It was a Klopp last year, and he was taken up. I was never putting Salah up there, but after this year, I always rate him. Of course, I thought he was a brilliant. But this year, I'm going, no, I'm putting you in the mix.
It's really interesting because see, Liverpool fans love him. Talking about him winning the Ballon d'Or, being one of the best players. We've got the contract stuff. But the second half of last season was the first time you could feel it with supporters, like, the summer's the time to cash in here. Because the year before, it was like...
But they didn't turn on him, though, did Jimmy? Did they turn on him even when he had his little bust up? You always said Liverpool fans would always back the manager.
Yeah.
But they didn't turn on him either and there was a few tantrums, wasn't it? There was not one. I thought there was maybe 3 or 4, wasn't there?
When he got taken off?
Yeah, a few little bits
He went to the African Cup of Nations last season, come back, and he wasn't the same player. And it was the first time you could ever go, oh, he was injured, wasn't fully fit. And it was a case of Liverpool turned down, I think, probably about 120, 150 million the season before for him, when the Saudi thing first kicked off. And it was like, OK, can we still get that money a year later? But he ended up staying. And I think what the version of Mo Salah now is much better than even his first season, I think he got 47 goals, I think. But this is a complete package now rather than just a goal scorer.
When he done an interview not too long ago, a few weeks back now, and people were talking about some people saying that sometimes in games he kind of disappears out of the game, but then all of a sudden he says, but like I've realised at this stage of my career that it's the game.
It's experience, isn't it? Yeah,
it's about moments.
Yeah.
It's about moments and delivering in the moments. And like I said, I don't think I've seen for many, many years. I know Thierry was doing his great stuff when he was playing, but somebody's being so consistent.
Do you know who I think they all watch, Riley? I think these top players would watch people like Messi and watch how their careers keep going on. And again, it is these lads go, I'll come back maybe and I'll slot them, but they're not going to be tackling people and chasing people down. They might come back into position, but they're like, I'll be judged on what I do when I get the ball.
Yeah.
And if they're producing, you forgive all the other bits.
Well, I can
you know
never...
I used to have a little bit, Canton a little bit. I used to get annoyed with Eric sometimes. I go, Eric, and then you win 1-0, he scores a goal.
But I think he's doing both though at the minute. I
think he did both in that game. What I would say is I think it's him, but also I think it's a tactic from them, not a tactic as such, but I think the manager's clever enough. Yeah. When you actually watch Liverpool, if you're looking down on all the players that are on the pitch, you'll see Mo Salah standing on the right wing, basically when Liverpool are defending. And Liverpool have had joy from that in terms of counter-attacking. And I can never get out of my head when we first went with Sky to the Champions League games in Barcelona. And the view, we used to go right to the top. Do you remember when we'd look down on the game? And Messi just be walking.
Yeah.
He wouldn't move. And you'd be like, you can't criticise Messi. You're almost transfixed by what he's doing. The game's going on here, but you're thinking, what is he doing? Yeah. Where's he going? And he'd be constantly just checking his shoulders with it. And as soon as he needed to come alive, he'd do that. And I think Mo Salah's got a little bit about him this season of like, his experience, maturity. I don't need to be here, but I'm going to come alive.
But isn't that intelligence?
Yes.
Isn't that proper football intelligence? Go, but picking the right moments, because sometimes players like to say, I'll just drift out of a game, and you go, and they can't get back into it. But they'll, as you said, Messi, we've all seen videos where there's just cameras on Messi.
Yeah.
And he is watching it. He's just looking, prowling. He's like...
But bro, you get to another level when you're a player, you're able... Like, see some players and they say, look at him, look at his body, look at he's just walking around. You get to a level with, like what Messi's taking, obviously Mo's at that level, where they can walk about because you said, but he's going to come alive in a minute.
But we couldn't do that, the positions we played in. Did you get to that at sort of yours, because you played on to later? I mean,
wasn't your style, was it really?
No, I had to keep moving. But like, especially with their manager, like someone like George Graham.
I was thinking more later when you were at
even with Wenger, you had to be constantly on the move. I wasn't that player where like they seemed that they could drop in and pick the ball up and zoom at people. I was on the furthest line up forward, on the shoulder.
I think for United, I mean, Eric did it a little bit, but I think Cristiano was the first person that I ever saw not defend. And I couldn't get my head around it for a period. When I spoke about this, where he's in front of me on the right wing, I was thinking...
Did the manager say he didn't have to?
No, it was never... It got to a point where we all accepted, when his numbers started to get to the 35, 40 a season, you almost said, do what you want. It almost gets to that point where you say, I'm sorry, there has to be a different rule for him, which, to be fair, doesn't exist in a team, particularly one team that's working really hard to do well. But But you have
to be getting them numbers. You can't be getting 15 goals.
You have to be 30s.
You have to be that.
You have to be big numbers, and you have to be something very special and win games constantly for your team. And Salah is in a golden moment because, I mean, obviously the goals, the sort of assists, all the things. The thing that I said this to you the other day. When did he start becoming someone who could hold off 6'2" defenders, hold it, pin them, bring it down, and just pop it off?
Yeah.
I mean, Alisson's knocking balls to him. And I'm like, as a defender, I've got to stand in front of him. I've got to try and wrestle him. And he's holding off Guardiola on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's like, when did he start doing
that? It's his balance and everything.
Yeah, but you know what?
He's just been a super good pro.
But when did he start doing
strength.
that?
He is a really
but you know what's happened?
pro,
It's because his persona. He's gone somewhere else.
Yeah, frightened to death of him, aren't
they? They're absolutely petrified because, like, you look at someone like Guardiola, he is bigger than him. But once he's got in a position and the ball is coming in, it's control.
Yeah.
Guardiola now is shitting himself.
Yeah.
Especially, and Mo knows that. That's the thing. He knows that now.
You have him.
Where does this rank in terms of managers' achievements? Because none of us had Liverpool winning the league, and there are not many people in this country had Liverpool winning the league this year with Klopp leaving.
No one saw that coming.
No,
yeah, but
absolutely. So what I'm saying, the point is, no one had Liverpool winning the league.
I just want to. I didn't say they would, but last year they were in the mix with about 5-6 games to go.
No, I know. I'm not saying it's a shock, but when you get back to the start of the season, let's not rewrite history.
No signings to hold.
No signings. Losing Klopp. You think
new manager.
Hang on a minute. This is sort of like this could go a little. But
isn't it great? Also, you're trying to put yourself in the Liverpool players, and Klopp is amazing manager.
Yeah.
But sometimes players are ready for a change.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know people talk about
But where do we
training.
rank it? Where do we rank this in terms of managerial?
Well, if-
But
If he
injuries have
if
affected
he wins the
City
league
and
this
Arsenal
year.
If he wins the league,
so
it's probably-
bad, haven't they, this
I think
year?
Mourinho would still probably just rank above it
In
for
his
me
first-
in
in
terms
his
of
first
because
season.
Chelsea had never won a league title
Yeah,
for
for a long, yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, Chelsea probably.
No, I think.
Yeah,
this
but don't you
is the
think that
season.
Liverpool,
I think
Liverpool
Jose-
under pressure?
No. Chelsea this season before had finished second. My point being is Chelsea went and bought, like, we're just spending 50, 60, 30, 40
I mean,
million from them.
Ranieri at Leicester is the top one of all time.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
to
we
me,
give-
Jose. I think Jose and Slot is the one that I'm looking
No,
at.
I think Slot and probably Wenger winning the double. Even though Wenger come in the year before, but he was halfway
took
through.
a couple of years, yeah.
No, it was his first full season.
Yeah, I
He
know,
won the
but he was
double.
still been in the previous
Yeah, I
season.
get that. But what I'm saying is, Arsenal were a team who were finishing 5th and 6th. I think Arsenal maybe finished 5th or 6th. Wenger had been there, so okay. But to win the double in his first season, full season, but Slot doing it without so probably Slot might win. Slot will win the league.
I've got him as manager of the year
I think Ranieri and then probably Slot.
because I think that what he's done coming in, and again, he's not even his players.
No, but this is where I give Klopp credit. I'm going to give Klopp
Yeah, he's
credit.
left a good team.
Klopp knew a few months ago, like he was, I don't know, recruit, but he left good stuff behind him. You're on about United managers who come in and now going, they're dealing with rubbish. At least Slot would have gone in there going, there's something there. There's a foundation there for me to try and you obviously the surprise was he didn't really bring any players, and you mentioned he brought one in. So that's why I give Klopp a little bit. He gave him something. There was something there for him to. But of course,
then
getting over the line
Gravenberch,
is
so then-
obviously a lot more
The
difficult.
thing about Gravenberch
Yeah.
and Gakpo, and I always say this, we always talk about managers and recruitment, and of course every manager lives and dies by his recruitment, the players he brings in. We use it as a stick to beat them with, or, whatever. But I think something really underestimated in is when a new manager comes in, he's got 22, 25 players who aren't his. He hasn't bought them, but this idea that they're not his players, he's got to do something with them. He has to. This thing, like right now with Man United,
What he's done with Gravenberch is
that's my point.
another midfield players, Curtis Jones and people like that. It's unbelievable.
But what I'm saying is, he hasn't bought anyone, but he's made players in the squad who he didn't buy better. That's a manager's job.
Yeah, of course.
It's not just to buy
Jamie,
him.
but
He's done
sorry, but
stuff
isn't it
with-
also easier sometimes for a manager? Imagine if they came in and they said to Liverpool last summer, "You've 200 million to spend." Then, but sometimes for a manager, it's nice to have no options. Going, no, you've got to work with these lads.
Do you
You've got
think
to
it
make them better. And they were good
overcomplicates
players.
it?
Don't get me wrong. Sorry.
Overcomplicates it sometimes.
Listen, sometimes we talk about recruitment, but also an easy, I think, for a manager going, listen, you have to work with these lads who were decent players. You won a trophy last year, and nearly, with 4 or 5 games to go, they were still maybe thinking they could win the league. So there was something to work with. So he thought, at least I don't have to get bogged down by trying to get lads.
You know what I
in.
think was important, Roy?
Be interested in what they do this
and
summer.
we'd probably say this was a negative. We also talk about the tournament, don't we, being a negative if a new manager's coming in. Like he doesn't get the players back till whenever, and he hasn't had them from the first day of pre-season. In some ways, that may have helped Liverpool, because I think the noise coming from the club was, we're not going in the market for players because he hasn't seen his squad yet. It was almost this case of like, he doesn't know what they're like, and it was they all come back like then the pre-season starts like, oh, okay, and then basically they only went for one player. It wasn't like 3 or 4. They went for one player, the midfield player, and they didn't get him.
The management, to be fair, above him also needs some massive credit. We also, to be fair, sometimes say that ultimately, they've not panicked, have they? The people who've come in, the guy Hughes, obviously.
He's come back and sorry. The guy above him, but Richard Hughes coming from Bournemouth.
Yeah, I think, and then the way in which they've recruited or not recruited and not panicked.
But if they started badly, Nev, would they? If you
Yeah,
start well and everything,
I get that. But
it's like when you're winning,
still,
everything's fine.
There is a
isn't it?
calmness about how they do things, and they were doing things for previous 7 or 8 years. There's a calmness about how they've recruited. They never overpay that much. I mean, Nunez probably the exception. They never really overpay that much. They tend to stick.
wait
with
for
Do you think that's the way to do it?
No. I'm saying
want,
what they've done at Liverpool is what, to be fair, maybe used to happen. What happens at a successful club? But Pep, to be honest with you, they've been quite smart in their recruitment, haven't they? You know what I mean? Over the last few years, they've been quite
You said that hierarchy would fall away as soon as Klopp went.
No,
you did. You did.
Just let me finish. What's up with you? My point was, I generally think that FSG aren't as popular with Liverpool fans.
Because you need social media, they're absolute cranks.
Oh my God. FSG aren't as popular as they should be for what they've done at Liverpool, and if they didn't invest and then the team started to be fair, nosedive, which I thought after Klopp they would, to be fair, nosedive a little bit and go down into sort of 4th, 5th, 6th. I thought that's where they'd be this season. I had them outside the Champions League place. I think I had them in 5th, which maybe still will be a Champions League place. I think, to be fair, they were on the edge. I think with fans would have turned quite quickly on them, and you know that. My point is,
and I'm saying these people
but to
are
hold their
absolute
nerve,
cranks.
but to hold their nerve like they did against that, and not sign anybody, and not go into the transfer window and stay calm. It's hard to do that.
You know what? You got
great
hard to do
that. You see, with Gravenberch and his emergence, especially as they went for Zubimendi, he's like a new signing for a position at Liverpool that they needed.
Yeah.
That they needed, and that in itself can energise. That in itself can energise, because when you look at how good he's been, and then obviously Salah's form, I think Virgil's playing he's playing great. He's playing as good as when he first got there for me, Virgil. And then even the substitutes are coming on and making a difference. And we're talking about a league where City have kind of fallen off. Arsenal can't really compete, obviously, in respects of the forwards and the goals to try and to catch Liverpool. It just feels...
And the young goalkeeper, though, Keller, when he came in for a while, they've had setbacks with important players, and they've just...
It's worked nicely for them, but they've taken full advantage of the
Do you think we overlooked the Liverpool win in COVID times? Because didn't they win it with like 7 games to go? I feel like that was a big one, wasn't it?
7 games to go.
I think there was.
Oh, they won it.
That was a
six
blasting
games
they
or
gave them,
something,
didn't
yeah.
it?
2.
No, it was 6, and it was the first one in what, 30 years or something.
It was. Listen, that was sad. That was. Listen, it was unfortunate. And there was bigger problems going on in the Wales at the time than Liverpool not having the fans there to win the league. But I do.
They're
think...
all outside though.
yeah. But it was. I mean,
it was a big win, though, wasn't it? Like,
no, of course it was. But in terms of
chasing City down.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have to chase them. I mean, they won halfway through the season. But
not that
I just
season,
think,
but the seasons before.
Yeah, I just think missing out on that moment, I think that'll be something, fingers crossed, if it goes well, will be something.
They'll make up for it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Won't they?
Yes.
Yeah. I
Dancing.
know where I won't be on the final day. This episode of Stick to Football is brought to you by Sky Bet. Bad news for Slotty. Oh, not bad news, really. He's been banned for 2 matches for his confronting match.
Oh, was that the hand?
Breaking news.
No, but everyone keeps saying how calm he's been. And he's
had more yellow cards than anyone, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that was a test for him, that obviously losing the derby in the last minute. He drew the derby in the last minute. He definitely had gone then, hadn't he? You saw him that night, and you thought... that's where, I mean, we'll come to Arsenal in a minute, in terms of Arsenal not applying that pressure from winning on Saturday and getting to within 5 points, and potentially coming out of the weekend where it's actually in Arsenal's hands. That's where the weekend was. That swing from being potentially 5 points to 11 is like huge.
You thought this weekend could have been on, because I could tell on the text.
No, I honestly...
You were all in.
No, do you know something?
He really wanted to watch the Arsenal game and really be fully invested in it.
No, but what it tells you is, to be fair, is that I genuinely believe that if City weren't going to win the league, Arsenal would be there to win it. And the idea when you win it first time, sometimes you come from behind. And Liverpool have dropped points in the last few weeks. They've drawn 4 in 8, which is, to be fair, that's giving you a massive chance. Yeah. For Arsenal not to be there, to not be there on the shoulder on Saturday night, honestly, I think that really they take a massive dent in my view, because I've got the Arsenal team. I thought they'd win the league this year.
What, when we were all fit, you mean?
No, my point is, though, righty. So this is a team. So
they're obviously not ready, Nev.
So where I'm at with Arsenal is that 2 years ago, Saliba got injured, so we can't win the league. That was the view at that time, because they dropped off.
Yeah, it was a massive...
Ian said that.
I'll stick by that.
Right, so what they then go and do is they then go and buy a gluttony of defenders to be able to cover that position. Did they not think that they were short in the striking positions in the last 12 months, and that they might be in a position where Havertz could get injured, or that Saka might get injured at a certain point? He played every single game like Salah. So my point is, to leave yourselves open for 12 months, when Arsenal fans more than anybody, you've been saying it on here for so long. In fact, I think you said on here pre-Christmas they need to bring a striker in January. They haven't brought a striker in January. And
for me, 3 years, 5 wins.
They haven't bought a striker in 3 years. Now, they lost the title 3 years ago. This is a team now that hardened to going in title races. They're 2 title races. This is not like babies anymore in title races. They know what it's about. Last year they were close. You're thinking, don't leave yourself short. Roy's just talked before about us having 3 or 4 strikers at United. Liverpool have got 5 or 6 forwards that they can call upon.
So have Arsenal.
No, to leave you say there's nothing in the market, but to leave yourself without a striker, if you're a competent recruitment department, and I won't forget about United because I know you'll come on to that shortly. If you're a competent recruitment department, you cannot leave yourselves without a striker as backup for Havertz.
Well, obviously, you're looking at us at the moment. We're not competent enough, because when you look at what we done last season to try and chase City down and get close, and then in the summer we bought Calafiori and Marino. When we know we've needed a striker, you're thinking to yourself, okay, we'll see how it goes. He obviously feels that we've got enough. Then,
what a mistake, though, that is.
Well, it is a mistake. And then when you look at...
You knew they didn't have enough. The Arsenal fans knew
everybody
they didn't have
knows.
enough. We knew they didn't have enough. So
I'm confused as to as to why they haven't gone all out to try and get that striker. You know, especially even before Saka was injured, even before Jesus was in, we needed more cover up front. So you look at it and you think to yourself, I don't know what's going on upstairs. And then when this January came, and especially you're talking about Liverpool and we should be catching them in that, we haven't got any strike. We haven't got no one to score the goals.
But it is hard in January, though, right?
It's very hard in
January's
January.
too late.
Right, it's
It had
hard
to be
in
last
January,
summer.
but people have done it.
Yeah.
And the thing is that if we are trying to win the league, you have to do more.
Can I
you have
just
to try and
jump
do
in? 'Cause
something. I don't think we've done enough.
I've got a lot of sympathy for Arteta, and
Me
I'll
too.
tell you why.
The board are not backing him right now, Jim.
Well, it's not. What I would say is, January on the back of Jesus doing the cruciate, can you get anybody even on loan a body to cover Havertz? Anybody? But it's easy for us to say now. Last season, now we think Liverpool are going to win the league. Yeah. Who are Liverpool's two strikers? Jota and Nunes. Are they amazing? Are they better than what Arsenal got in Jesus and Havertz? Really?
I'll take Jota's finishing.
Yes, but does then Jota give you what Havertz does in terms of pressing, holding the ball up, set pieces and ending? So what I'm saying is we're not talking that Liverpool have got like something that Arsenal haven't
Arteta
got.
didn't like Jesus.
What's that?
Arteta didn't really fancy Jesus as a striker. He's not fancied him for a year and a half. He's hardly played him.
I know, but what I'm saying
really
is he's there. So he's got Havertz there, who was actually the centre forward for Germany.
Yeah.
Okay, so my point being is that centre forward position, the team who are going to win the league, are not levels above Arsenal in terms of who they have. Liverpool have played Diaz as centre forward for most of this season. Now, the thing for me is the reason I've got sympathy for him because I know you want someone who's going to get another 10 goals more than... Let's say Havertz is a 15 to 20 goal a season, man. You want a 25 to 30. I get that. But you also don't want to lose what Havertz gives because he gives you a lot for the team. So it's a tough balancing act, that. We'll get a guy who gets another 10 goals, but he might not hold the ball up. Does he press? Does he do
That's why maybe they went for Watkins.
But when I look at Arsenal's striking options in Jesus and Havertz, and then I look at the left wing options in Martinelli and Trossard, I think they're weaker at left wing than they are at centre forward. I think for me, that's what I believe. I might be wrong, but that's what I would say. And for me, when I think of, say, Liverpool, Firmino, he won a goal scorer. The goal scorer comes on the other side, so they got Salah. But was there a left winger there? Martinelli and Trossard are not players to win, to play for a team and win the title.
I'm not talking about actually signing a striker that's 40 goals a season actually for Arsenal. I'm talking about...
Options, you need...
I'm talking about if you had a Giroud... not Giroud now. I'm talking about if you had a Giroud type player that could play up there as a striker, bring people into play, that was a focal point for a team, they would completely transform the rest of them anyway. So it doesn't have to be a 25. But
he was slaughtered when he was there, Giroud.
No, my point is, if you had, I'm talking about a style of player, not someone who scores 30 goals. I'm talking about someone who plays, someone who plays the position really well, holds his position up front, occupies defenders, makes the other players have more space, makes runs that maybe are clever.
That's what supposed to do.
No, but if you can't plan on the fact,
he's a guy who holds the ball up, and there's people.
You can't plan on one player being fit and your whole eggs in one basket. I'm sorry, that is not right.
I know, and that's why they had Jesus, and when he's got a cruciate injury, they should have brought a body in.
Right, everyone's known Arsenal needed to sign a striker for 12 to 18 months. We said it last season, we've said it this season at the start, we said it this season in January.
Because I've had enough of this talk about strikers, right? Everyone out there says, Liverpool need a striker. Arsenal need a striker. Man United need a striker. Chelsea need a striker. Why aren't they buying them? Because they're not out there. Everyone in this league, besides Man City and Newcastle, say they want a striker. So why aren't they buying them? Where are these strikers? Tell me the name.
Well, Marmoush has just signed for City as someone who's...
He's not an out-and-out striker.
He started to score goals. I'm talking about someone who can play centrally up front.
The thing
My point is Arsenal...
They're the biggest league in the world with the most money, and none of them have got strikers.
We've needed more firepower. We've needed more cover.
He's not signed a striker for 3 years.
You're looking at someone like Saka. We've seen Saka and Saka's form for England and for Arsenal. At some stage, we needed some backup for him in the forward position. You look at someone like Marmoush, you think to yourself, wow, that is somebody that you think, wow, you could have got someone like him.
Yeah.
Of course you could. Then you got someone like Jesus, who is a bit injury prone. You're mentioning Arteta doesn't fancy him down the centre.
Not really.
Right? So we needed backup for that as well. This is the problem I've got is that, like Jamie said, where are we going to find that person? It's going to be a gamble, whoever it is. Look how much you're paying for Højlund. Look what you're paying for Darwin Núñez.
Exactly.
Arsenal can't afford to maybe go in and maybe make that decision, but they get into a position where they're forced to have to go in. And even this January, he changed his tact a bit. Once the injuries happened, he said, if there's somebody out there that we can find, we will try.
Okay.
I think the board personally. I'm going with the board here.
Yeah, you're either...
Not help this man. He's coached us as far as he can.
They've not signed a striker for 3 years at the club, right? They're woefully short in that area of quality. Havertz, to be honest with you, is half a striker to start with, but I agree he does a good job for the team and I like him.
He's a great...
Right, you either have to be in the camp of, we feel sorry for Arsenal, they're a well-run club, they shouldn't have signed a striker because the value wasn't there, or in the last 3 years, they should have brought in a competent striker to support Havertz. Which you in? Because I'm in that camp. I'm in this camp definitely.
Yeah,
in 3 years, you've got to be able to get a striker in 3 years.
But if you're in that camp, that's you've got to be critical of Mikel Arteta because he has spent a lot. The money has been. You spent over 100 million on a midfield player in Declan Rice. You brought Marino in for 40 million. So could them funds have been spent there?
You know,
that's a different argument.
Yeah, but you say that, Jamie, and I think to myself, I would never not change. I would never not do that with Declan because I believe Declan is so integral that you're thinking, do I save that money and get the striker, or do I get Declan? I would have rather have gotten Declan and maybe see if we could get the striker at some stage.
Do you know what I think they've actually done? I think in the last parts of the transfer window in the summer, I think I'm not sure the club wanted to sign Sterling. I'm not sure Arsenal...
No, it wasn't. They said that. Edu said it was something that just fell in their lap.
I'm not sure Arsenal would have wanted to sign, as a club, Sterling. I think Arteta's thought, no, I can get him centre forward, I can get him left wing, I can get him right wing, and he's gone in there and said he's my cover for those 3 positions. I think that's what he said. He can play all across the front line. He's played centre forward before for City. He's done that role, and he's almost like my second, third striker And I think what's happened is they then sort of backed him, and I think it's then put them off doing another deal in January of the same ilk because they're thinking, well, we've already brought Raheem in, so actually, if you're not going to use him, what's the point in adding someone else to it? And then all of a sudden, Havertz gets injured, and you're done.
You're done. Especially as we've got a goalkeeper that's taking up a lone space. He can't.
Yeah, but I still think it's a preference to have kind of almost too many strikers. Yeah, we'll argue Chelsea going, they need strikers. But at least they've got strikers in the building who might be doing the business. We spoke recently about Liverpool. Would they sell certain strikers? You go, no, keep them. You better have the options. If you're trying to win league titles, you're better off having too many strikers than obviously having none.
See, Liverpool have got a situation where Salah can play up top, Diaz can play up top, Jota can play up top, Nunez can play up top, Gakpo can play up top. I'm not saying they're all centre forwards, but they're all capable of playing in that position. They've got options, so many options, and if 1 or 2 of them are in good form, it's fantastic. Now, for me, in the last 2 games, he's played without almost a striker. He's almost played with Diaz half to the left, Salah half to the right, and he's gone in with 4 midfield players, and he's not even had a striker. So my point is...
Yeah, but that helps when you're on top of all the other parts.
I agree.
Plus, you're able to bring people on if that doesn't work.
But he's got goals, and he's got goals in the team. So Arsenal, whether it's bringing in a Marmoush to the left or it's bringing in someone to the right, Liverpool have got options in wide areas to change things. Arsenal
have got 6 attackers. Basically, 2 for each position to the front 3. So have Liverpool. Liverpool have got a fella in salary. Arsenal haven't got a goal scorer, if you like, who's going to get numbers. It doesn't have to be the guy through the middle.
Saka would have. I'm not saying Mo's like numbers, but he will get the numbers.
No, but Saka, Trossard, Marta, they can't really play centre forward. They can't play with a back to play. Salah can play with his back to play. Gakpo can play in that sort of little pocket. Those players that Liverpool have got can play wide and centrally. The Arsenal's can't. Arsenal's can't. They're not capable of doing that. Nwaneri, Saka, Trossard, Martinelli, none of them can actually play across the front line. Ronaldo, we mentioned before, could play left, right or centre. Rooney could play left or centre.
You can't say about Nwaneri. Nwaneri might be able to do that.
Welbeck could play left or centre. So my point is, Arsenal's can't.
Are we a bit harsh on Arsenal, though? Like, I think, obviously, with the injuries, and then you look at the sending-offs this season, they're still in the Champions League. They're still up there. Or we're a bit harsh
27. We've had 27.
Not. Like, I think they've played 5 games with 10 men, which I know you'll probably make a comment. But it's difficult, isn't it?
You know something? You need more than Arsenal to be challenging Liverpool. The same last few years. You need... We're focusing on Arsenal last year too, and expectations got up at Arsenal. But we know the last step is the biggest one, and they've come up short. And we're saying the players are missed, but maybe mentally they're not quite ready for that next step. They played West Ham at home the weekend, so a team can lose at home, of course. They had no midweek game. If they had a European game, they go, oh, they had a tough game on Tuesday or Wednesday. They were in Bayern or they were in Spain. They had a free week, and they don't even score a goal at home.
Right, we're struggling with that mid-block. And that's something that obviously...
2 years ago, we argued, me and you argued, it was 2 or 3 years ago when Arsenal got knocked out of the FA Cup, and everyone was saying, oh, it's great. It's great that they ran out of steam, and they had no midweek games.
The one that Saliba was injured.
Yeah.
That was the...
But everyone, last year, and everyone was saying, oh, it's great that Arsenal out of the Cup. Now they have no midweek games. You're going... You get rid of... They had no midweek game last week, and they don't score a goal at home to West Ham.
I still believe that what's happened and the way it's been, the way we've constructed a season, whether it's in the summer or January, it's cost us. at this particular time because we've lost the players that are meant to be the ones that's taken us to the...
Man United went down there 6 weeks ago. United, who are as bad as we've ever seen them, they're going to win at Arsenal. That was an FA Cup game where it was a bit tight. And then, was it Man City? They're not even getting over the line in them tight kind of games.
They have bad
The
luck,
injuries
though.
have
They
cost
had
us.
the 10 days. No, they did. Like,
I
the
know.
bad
Get
luck.
to
Like, they
Bali
had
now.
10 days, went to Dubai and then lose a striker. Like,
I know, but you know something? Look, to be honest with you, I think when a team are growing like that, it does leave a sort of big question mark over this. I just want to pick you up on something. You said it's the board.
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Do you mean losing Edu, or do you mean not recruiting, or not backing the manager?
I think in all of that, I think all of those. I'm really surprised. I was really gutted to see Edu leave at this time because obviously the plan, he may not see the end. He can't see the end for whatever reason. Is it because the board? He knows that the board are not going to give them what they need so they can get to where they're going. I've got no problem with Mikel, but I do believe that the summer, especially after the season we had, chasing City to second twice now, there's no way that we shouldn't be backed more, but this manager shouldn't be backed more in respect of who he wants and what he wants to build so as we can get over the line. So
we talk about leagues. So again, we can argue about the manager and go, you're saying it's not that Mr. Board, but what about winning a cup? You can win a cup, even if your squad's not strong enough. When was the last time Arsenal won a trophy? How many years now?
It's 4 years now. 4.
4?
Yeah.
Since they won the FA Cup?
5 years.
If that was any other 5 years, if any other manager...
but then you say that,
no,
but
if there's
then
any other manager in the Arsenal seat, of 5 years, you'd be going, hey,
yeah, but at the same
he's got to be
time...
under pressure. He's not winning a trophy.
He's won one, but like at the same time, people say, yeah, but that was 5 years ago, so it doesn't make any difference if it's not the league. People will say, yeah, but look, that's just the FA Cup. The fact is, we've got a manager, I believe, in the way that he's trying to construct the team, is doing the very best he can. And the reason why I would say the board is because I don't think that he himself could do any more with this group of players apart from bringing more players in to help.
I think we've seen peak Arsenal under Arteta. I think
that's a big statement.
Well, even with all the injuries. If all those players are involved, you think that's happening?
Do you think they're never going to win the league then now?
Injuries is part of football. It's part of football.
I think...
Does that mean they're not going to win the league
No,
then?
but why? When I say I think we've seen peak Arsenal, I think last season, the second half of last season, I was looking at Arsenal thinking, wow, this is a team, this is almost... I'm watching them week in, week out, and thinking, I'm watching the Champions League games as well. I didn't think they'd win the Champions League, but I thought, I'm watching a team who's playing as well as anybody in Europe here. I think the last 18 games, you won 16, you drew 1 away at City, and you lost at home to Aston Villa. But that 3 or 4 month period, I'm not sure Arsenal will get back to that. And the reason I say that is because I go back to when we were playing for Liverpool and we were going for the league, and we had a season where we were really there. And if you finish second 3 years in a row, it's hard to sort of keep going again and keep, that's the name of the game. And he may have to change players. And
Liverpool
we're talking about recruitment and bringing players in and Arteta. But there's definitely a question about Arteta. And I said at the start of the season, the football we saw in the first season you challenged City, when Zinchenko was there and Jesus had come in, and Zinchenko was going into midfield, the football, and Xhaka was in that team. It's a different team now. It feels more... powerful,
physical,
but stiff, not loose, not like football. And it's not a criticism, you can win football any other way. But there's no doubt this is more of a...
rigid.
Jose Mourinho. I said this 6 months ago, I got slaughtered by Arsenal fans, but it's there. It's about set pieces. It's about going long into your front players.
He's trying to find out ways.
Everyone dropping back behind the ball and keeping clean sheets. And I played for managers like that at Liverpool when we were going for the league. We were a team who, with that, was strong, keep a clean sheet, can we nick it? And we always lacked something special in it. We had Stevie and Torres, but we didn't have another couple. And I think when I've always watched Arsenal, that's why I've never backed Arsenal for the league even at the start of the season, before injuries. I always thought you're a special attacking player, short of what Man City were. Forget Liverpool, but
why have they not signed that player, Carragher?
But that goes back to the manager. I think the way he's actually, not asking him to play, but I don't know if he's scarred by the last 2 sort of run-ins with Man City and think, well, how can I take Man City on when they've got Haaland, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Foden? Have we got to do it another way where we're set pieces, we're big, we're powerful, we're the best team defensively in the league? And that's the way I'd look at Arsenal. It's not a criticism. No. I just think he's trying to win the league a different way than when he was 2 years ago, because he didn't feel he could take on Manchester City.
But this is why I think that the summer, again, is massive for Arsenal, simply because we've got a few players that are in the Mo Salah, Trent and Virgil, in 3 players in Saliba, Saka and Maguire at the back. And I think that they'll probably be sitting and waiting in the summer to see, well, what are they going to do here? You know, what are they going to do? Who they signing? Because before, like, I get my man to sign, I want to see who's coming here to see how long is this going to go on, because my man wants to win things. So I think the summer was coming for us. With everything what you're saying, the summer is massive, especially with this window, nothing in January. The summer has to be something really, really big.
Right, who would you want them to get?
It is a massive problem for us because, again, you know, how many times do you see Real Madrid chasing someone and not get them? You know, we've seen it with Trent.
Who would you want them to get in the summer?
In respects of?
Like a forward
I think we need 2 forwards.
Yeah.
If we can get a strike, I think we need 2. We needed 2 forwards before people got injured.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
I agree.
But we needed that before, and we need cover for the centre halves as well.
They always say, what's the saying? You're only as good as your goal scorers.
I agree.
You need a Salah, you need a Ronaldo, you need
Do you think it's realistic? Because I spoke about the clubs before, we probably need a striker. So let's say Arsenal and Liverpool, both probably in the market, I would say, for a striker. And I know this will upset Newcastle fans, but do you think it is realistic that another Premier League club could buy Isak? I mean, do you think someone would be prepared to go to sort of 120?
They'd have to go for that, because they paid big money for him.
Yeah.
With what he's done and how he is, if I had the money, I'd buy him for 120.
But do you think it's realistic that Newcastle would sell for that type of price? Would they?
If Newcastle get in the Champions League, they probably won't sell.
That's what I'm saying. Because he's got 3 years on his contract. It's not a case of like, oh, he could go for nothing or he could go for a knockdown fee. He's got a good length of time.
You're not going to sell your best player, are you, when they're going for top 4 as well?
No, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I think?
I'm not
good on
they're wealthy,
Newcastle as well, because what Newcastle paid 63.
They paid big money for him.
They paid big money, and we're talking about when you're paying those monies for these, you are taking a chance. It's like Man United with Højlund. He's had 9 goals at Atlanta, I think, something like that. And you look at Núñez, you're taking a chance with him.
Yeah.
But he, at 63, you think to yourself, okay, yeah, he looks pretty sharp.
Well, if they pay over 100 for Rice, then you shouldn't blink an eyelid.
No way.
Whatever.
If we could get him, if he comes up for that 120s and we're not chasing that, I'd be devastated.
If he has the decision between Liverpool and Arsenal, where do you think he'd go?
He'd probably go Liverpool in the cup. I'd like to think that Arteta could convince him, but like if we're talking about Slot and the fact that Slot's not even got his own team, how we see how Slot's going to play with the players that he wants, that seems like it might be a more attractive.
Would Liverpool pay that kind of
attractive proposition?
I think it's really interesting.
It might be a more attractive proposition, but again, you know, Arsenal need to do work.
I think Liverpool wouldn't bother about paying that type of money for a player. I mean, Liverpool put a bid in for Caicedo when he went to Chelsea. What was that, 110, 115? But how old's Isak? Is he 26?
I think so.
How old is he? Is he 26?
How old is Isak?
Little C and Gary's here.
How old is he?
25.
25. So he's 26
It's
next
going to be
season.
the next couple of years, whatever's happening.
What a season he's
You're going to
having,
get 4
though.
or 5 years.
Yeah.
What a
But
season.
like, you know, I'd hate to see that scenario where it's either Liverpool or Arsenal.
You'd hate to see it.
Yeah, because like I'd feel like it probably would Slot and what Slot's doing, especially if they do win.
But wages would come into it. What deal would...
Liverpool always pay.
Arsenal pay more wages, I think. Sorry, Liverpool pay more wages, I think. Arsenal, yeah.
Always.
You're saying about Newcastle having money. Do you think they're giving the staff sandwiches?
That's the next subject, Jill.
I did you a little in there.
This episode of Stick to Football is brought to you by Sky Bet. So United, on and off the pitch.
Yeah, but Gary,
It's a mess, eh?
you know something, when you read what's going on with the...
Don't believe everything you read.
No, you don't read it, but like, come on, Roy, everything we're hearing coming out of there is all about the people who are working. We're talking about, you get Dan Ashworth, you get, after a few months, millions to get him out. You know, you extend Ten Hag, millions to get him out. You know what I mean? When you look at those kind of, like, crazy decisions, and then we're seeing normal people.
No, but the Ten Hag one, to be fair, I've got some sympathy with, because no United fan was saying sack him at that time.
You know, I'm not even talking about saying to sack him. I'm talking about the fact that they kept him on, and now we're talking about scrimping and scraping redundancies with wages for normal people, bro. What's going on there, Gal?
Ian, about 3 years ago, I said that United needed to bring money in, and it was a car crash waiting to happen, this. The club's finances are shot, absolutely shot to pieces. The debt, the recruitment's been reckless. The increase in staff from 600 up to 1,200, which is just unbelievable. The lack of Champions League football, which is now happening, which is 30, 40 million, 50 million a year. It's an absolute mess. The club has run out of cash. The clubs run out of cash. What you now see,
Man United.
so what you now, Ian, honestly, what you now see is desperate decisions. Some of them, I think, to be fair, are needed. Some of them are bad. You know, you don't remove food off people in Old Trafford. You don't do that. You don't take 40 grand off the ex-players. And to be fair, Dan Ashworth was a mess. That's a really bad one because that's one you've chased for 8 months.
Yeah.
And then you get rid of him after 3 months. That's a shocker, and that's £4 million. So there's some bad decisions being made on the way in. But this is a culmination of 10 years of absolute shitfest of management of the Glazers, to the point whereby £1 billion been paid off in interest. The club is actually, to be fair, deteriorating in performance, cash flow, profit. It's lost 300 million in 3 years.
Wow.
Man United used to be the most profitable football
20
club.
years ago, they
It
went
was the
not
most
debt-free.
In 2018, they had 350 million in the bank in 2018. From that point on now, I think Ineos put in 300 million, and there's not much of that left.
You know something, with you have to say with the Glazers and the way they've done all this, it's like being scammed. It's like they scammed Man United. It's terrible how they can get through. They've come from America and come to one of the biggest club in this country alongside Liverpool.
Yeah, but that's still no righty. It's what you do
yeah, but you
about
say
it
it's
now.
done now, but like at the end of the day, something has to be done because Ineos is meant to come in.
Well, we just made the point. When you chase, you make bad decisions after bad, and they're suffering, United. Just going back, like any team or company
Just
out
going
there.
back to Liverpool and Arsenal and Tottenham in terms of how they run their clubs, and they've been quite sensible and always quite sort of... FSG, they operate the club very well from a point of view that the money...
But Gary, they were making chaotic decisions for years.
No, absolutely.
Liverpool
but my point
and
is
Arsenal.
now, the reason they've been quite shrewd is if you make 3 or 4 Nunes bad decisions and you don't get for Champions League all of a sudden this season, you're going underwater quite quickly at those level of mistakes. You're going underwater quite quickly, and they know that. That's why they've made really good decisions. They've qualified for the Champions League, which is massive, and then they end up looking profitable. It's a fine line, reckless spending, debt on the club. Then you have to make shocking decisions like are being made at this moment in time where you're stripping the club back. The mismanagement on and off the pitch is unbelievable.
But we know that. But we sit here every week talk about the problems at United. But how do you fix it?
But it
doesn't help that the team are rubbish either.
Oh, that's the biggest problem.
A lot of clubs can go through difficult stages. But if the team are getting over the line and winning football matches, then you're going, do you know, that kind of covers cracks.
I mean, Roy, I think the plan
goes hand in hand.
The plan was in the summer, invest in a big transfer window, keep Ten Hag, and then get into the Champions League, and we're back on a footing. When you invest in Ten Hag and it goes like that, you're not going to get into the Champions League, and then you've recruited badly. You've lost another almost 150, 200 million. You've almost...
Yeah, and you're stuck with these players for 3, 4, 5 years.
And you've got these players now. I mean, Casemiro sat there now saying, I'm not leaving for 18 months.
Of course
Why would he not?
I said this 2 years. I said this a year ago.
Why would we? We knew this coming 2 years ago with Casemiro. I mean, it's...
But maybe United have to suck it up.
Obviously, the Glazers, that'll always be an issue.
It's a massive issue, Cara.
No, I know that. But what I'm saying, as Roy says, you know, you've got Ineos now who are probably calling the shots a bit behind the scenes. I mean, where are they going? What are they doing?
No, I think they'll be looking at this moment in time thinking, what the hell? I think they'll be thinking this is absolutely a massive... This is far bigger than they ever thought. I'm sure it is.
That's their plan. That's their ethos, though. They do that, don't they? They go in Ineos and they do strip things back. I was reading with Mikel
How do you think the
Delaney.
manager feels? Imagine the manager there. I bet he's walked in and thought...
Remember the manager? The manager's the one who said, listen, the players ain't good enough, you know what I mean? We need to get a new system. They look frightened. He's told them what's happening now.
What's happening in football in this last few years, if you look at what's happened with Villa, they've had to sell John Duran to basically raise money. You look at what's happening in Newcastle where they can't sign a player, and they've got the richest owners in the world, by the way. So every club that isn't doing quite as well in the actual league and isn't qualifying for Europe or isn't getting Champions League football, I mean, Villa did this year, so they're in a better position. Every club now is on the edge. If they don't recruit well and they don't get in the Champions League, they're all on the edge.
Well, this is what I say about our board. Obviously, our board is thinking.
Absolutely. They're thinking,
that's exactly where they are.
They're looking at it and thinking, but...
But football clubs are always about good people. Hopefully people running the club are making good decisions, obviously. But you still need good people underneath. You're on about United sacking people left, right and centre. Good people. And who are they bringing in? Is United just all about pure business now?
Yeah.
It's just, we look at the players. We're talking about recruitment not being right, but whoever you bring in and listen, show some personality, show a bit of fight.
Yeah.
United, we're United in the league.
But when you sack
they're petrified, Jill. They're petrified.
Players are petrified.
Look, I'm talking about the people at the board and that. When you see how quickly it can nosedive, that's the only thing I can look at.
I always say for sport, people talk about Liverpool at the moment, you get momentum and everything's going well and decision-making all falls in. Everything feels great. Everyone's great at the training ground. When you start losing matches and you get momentum, everyone starts panicking.
You're right. On the pitch, stuff affects everything really badly. But they put 300 million in about a month or so ago, or whenever it was, 6 months ago, whenever it was. It's nearly all gone.
Yeah.
it's paying off basically everything. They all think 300 million to other clubs or 250 million to other clubs for players, which is not unusual when you stage payments. But they've got this debt, these massive debt repayments. They've got the payments to other clubs. They've got no Champions League football. And I think there's an element of we've got to strip the club back to a running cost that basically.
What was stripping the club back? Is that like treating people like rubbish?
Oh no, Roy. I think some of the things.
I understand.
Right, some of the things.
We're not daft. We played for the club.
Right.
We knew there was a business behind it, but it was all about the football and good people. And then that came. But no, it's the business, and the people are treated like rubbish. So maybe they deserve what they're getting. The club.
But Roy, when you move food from people, I think at Old Trafford, you can't do that.
But when you're sacking people, that's the like morale of the club, isn't it? Like you go in every day. Like sometimes you come off the training pitch, I go and chat to the canteen.
We're talking about the value of the pound. What about the value of how you treat people?
Yeah.
The business. Forget the 300 million. You're begrudging people a ticket or a sandwich.
Yeah.
I don't think it could have got any worse for Ineos, not just in terms of where the team are in the league, but when you think of the big decisions, it almost feels like they've got them all wrong. You know, you think of like keeping Ten Hag was proven to be wrong. Dan Ashworth, wrong. You know, where the team are, obviously they're not picking the team or playing, but I mean, how's it ever got this bad? And I said to you yesterday, the new manager comes in and you're like, I have sympathy for him because it's really poor, but it shouldn't be this bad.
No.
So it's still in the air whether they've got the right man here. So when you think of like the 3 or 4 real big decisions they've had to make is it a year they've been in or 18 months?
12 months.
Because we all talk about, don't we, the Glazers are in America, let's get football people in, let's get people who they're making the footballing decisions. So these guys are supposed to have a better background than that.
But their track record,
I know,
their track record is poor.
But every big decision has been poor so far. It's like...
But they've got no... Their previous is... poor decision-making with regard to come to sporting teams or particularly football. Yeah. So maybe we were the mad ones sitting there going, oh, it's all going to be fixed now. And we go back to the team and the recruitment and the players and showing a bit of fight and a bit of quality, a bit of speed in your play. They draw at everything. It's like they've won the cup. Fucking bizarre. And even the fans, the level of the... I see fans at matches, they're singing for Bruno. I say, these boys, I think you're fucking imposters.
No, bro, not Bruno.
Righty.
No. If you're going to dig someone out,
Righty, I've had enough of that rubbish, man.
Come on, right.
You watch Arsenal every week. We focus more on United. I'm watching them. Sit and watch a game. Sit and watch a game with them. We watched them at Leicester for you. We watched them in the FA Cup a few weeks ago. I watched them at Everton on Saturday. People pretending to be closing people down.
But who brought them back into the game? Who's bringing you guys back into the game? You can't. It's not Bruno, Roy. When we're talking about somebody who can actually do something to save you lot, it's Bruno who's doing it.
15th in the league, and he's saving them. Praise the Lord.
Yeah, you should say, if he wasn't there where you'd be.
But you have to have a starting point. I'll go back to it all.
Bruno's
talent is not enough. You keep going back to the talent. Oh, the talent. Bruno's a talented player, but talent's not enough.
When I used to talk about Bruno, and I said...
Talent is not enough, Righty.
Talent
is not enough.
What's he won?
Talk to me.
Now he's won something.
You were in the dressing room. Tony Adams was this, Tony Adams was that. Because he was a fighter. Bruno's not a fighter. You've got young players. You have to look at somebody and go, I like what he does. No, they all can't put the ball in the top of the net from 25 yards. I get that. But you want someone's going, lads, are you with me? Are you with me?
Maybe he's not that captain, right? Maybe he's not that. I'm with you.
He's
but
not.
What he's doing in respect of saving you, playing that pass, the goal.
What's he saving?
He's the one
that brings. What's he saving? Two Everton.
If Bruno's
what's he saving?
If Bruno's not there, United are in the relegation places. If Bruno's not there,
what's he saving them? What's he saving?
At the moment,
we saw him at Leicester a few weeks ago. We saw him at Leicester.
You're trying to isolate that particular game. Bruno, on a regular basis, saves that club in games.
Saves them. We're out in the league. Come on, man. We're out in the league.
I think he's...
Where would they be if they didn't have Bruno?
All right.
Am I right or wrong?
A place above it.
I think he's a good player, but I don't know if he's a good captain because I see goals go in and I see him shouting at
He's a talent. He's more talented than I can even dream of. Talent's not enough to play for a big club. If you think talent's enough to play for a big club...
It's not all on Bruno.
No, not all on Bruno.
Where do you start? All right, where do you start? If we start on a young lad, you can't pick on him.
No, I'm not saying starting a young lad.
You can't start on a foreign player. He's new to the league. Maguire the other day couldn't even jump. Who do you pin on Man United? If you're on about the players who walk on the pitch, forget the board and all that for a second. The players who walk on the pitch. So who do you start going? Who do you start pointing fingers? At some stage, you have to go. You've got to start. Players have to look at themselves, look at the person in the mirror. So who would you start with at Man United for starters? If you go, listen, you're 15th, 16th in the league. You're getting a 2-2 draw at Everton. You think, you're saving the day. They never kicked the ball for the first 60, 70 minutes.
I know you're saying who am I starting with. I know I'm not starting with Bruno, if anything. I'm not starting with him.
Of course you're not. Who are you starting with then?
I don't know. just because he's the captain, he might be petulant, whatever you think, but
You
he's the one who's...
You sit there every few weeks and you say, Tony Adams was amazing. When I was
That's
with
the
England.
captain I'm used to.
Yeah, of course.
That's the
That's what the captain we
I'm used to.
expect.
Yeah, but you haven't got that.
Tony
player.
Adams
You've got-
was Tony Adams the most talented player in the Arsenal dressing room?
No.
So why do you look up to Tony Adams and go, listen, I have a lot of time
He's
for
an
him?
amazing leader.
And what did he do in his leadership? Leadership is an action.
Led
by
us.
Yeah,
He
in
led
what
us
way?
to the championship and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
What's leadership to you about? Leadership to me is about action.
Yeah.
Right.
Bruno does action. Maybe you don't like his petulance, but
No,
he
I
does
don't.
things.
I just think if I had a captain, I wouldn't want him want to go blaming and what. That's what I say.
He needs
I don't
more
think
players
it's
around him. He needs more
Jill,
players around
it's not about blaming it. It's about
No,
people taking
I'm saying-
responsibility.
He needs
I'm
quality,
agreeing
more
with
quality
you.
around him.
I'm
Bruno would
agreeing
be
with
better.
you
with more
about
quality.
responsibility.
I'm not having
Yeah.
Bruno getting dipped.
Of course you're not. Well, who then? I've asked you a question. Who would you start going, he's got to do more? I'm not about a player taking responsibility. When they go out on that pitch, listen, show some courage. Want the ball. When you close somebody down, close them down properly. We asked you earlier, could you play off the front? No, I have to be at people. I have to be on the shoulder, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but that's my game, right?
Yeah, that's your game, yeah. And people appreciated you for your work rate, blah, blah, blah.
And I worked really hard.
Yeah,
as well.
but this thing, Liverpool, you get rewards from all this talent. You walk your socks off.
I'm
And just United team. Let me tell you something. When you close somebody down, when I call a bluffer, this is what I call a
Go
bluffer.
on.
So you're there, and I'm closing you, but I'm not really closing you down. So, and then you pass it. I've done my bit. Excuse my language.
I've never really wanted to see Ben as much in my life. So,
And we had a nightmare with the scores.
Ben,
I saw them.
Super Six.
Have we lost the dressing room? Are we?
You've took a lot of energy
You'd never
out
lose
of
my
us, to
dressing
be
room, Roy.
honest.
Roy, what about the Madison celebration where he...
Good on him. Yeah, absolutely. No problem. I still go to what I said. I don't think he does enough of that. But when he scores, I was at home with my cup of tea and I went, good on you. Hey, no problem. If people have a go at you, you answer
Should
them
get him
back.
on.
Oh.
Okay.
No, I was hoping he was going to do it the same the other day, but he was sub against Ipswich.
I knew it, see?
James, he's now monitoring your every move.
You can't win, James. Just do your stuff, James, because you can't win.
But he got an assist against Ipswich, to be fair. So I-
Exactly.
Hey, you
He'll
know-
do something.
You know what's going to
No
happen this
problem.
game? Bruno's going to score the winner.
Yeah, I know. He's gonna get a hat trick.
When Bruno sees this one, you're going
I
to...
like Bruno.
Of course you like him. We all like Bruno.
He's a talented player, but talent's not enough.
We've got Cunha questions. And the first one is,
This is cool, isn't
if you had to keep one of your body parts,
it?
if you could change one part of your body, what would it be?
I know what theirs would be.
Jill.
His personality
I
a
didn't
part of
say
it. Physically, you mean, yeah.
Which part of your body would you change?
I think I'd want a better nose.
As big.
Turn it to the side, let me see. Let me see, Jill. It looks Roman. It's got a
No,
Roman.
I
of your
would
body would
like.
you
Yeah, that's how
my
you were
nose.
designed. That's how you were designed.
I know, but it's to change. I'd change my nose.
Oh, yeah, I think you're fine, Jill.
Okay. What would you change?
I'm comfortable with it. No, we're all different.
It's a really strange question.
I think I go nose.
I
Your
think you
nose
should
is
as well.
all right.
I was going to say, I'm glad you said it, guys. I say, what about your bugle?
I'll say me teeth.
What's wrong with them? You don't like?
I don't like the crossover on the front a little bit. I've never really had them done or put them straight. Just
Yeah.
like,
Do you know what? Maybe if I was
All right.
taller, you know, when you're playing in midfield,
know
if you were like
something?
6 foot.
oh, I'd like to be big, yeah.
I think maybe, yeah.
The reason we got that question
on, a
because
couple of
back in
All right.
Oh, yeah.
What's
do you know
Roy
what?
Keane?
This is a Shoot
Roy Keane
magazine.
on the front.
Comes clean.
I think I had that magazine.
How many more episodes have we got on this?
November 1993,
Listen, I'm going to go through that finger. What his favourite?
which part of your body would you change? And Roy was asked this in 1993. No part of it. I'm happy with the way it is, so I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change anything,
been
nose
designed
or
this
ears
way.
or anything. At least the women tell me they are quite happy with how I look. He says,
You
at least the
didn't
women
say
tell
that.
me they are quite happy with how I look.
It's a misquote.
Did you actually say
Is that
that?
when you were at Man United?
Stupid. It's
That
amazing.
seems when you're a foreigner.
When you're a younger player, they get you to do stupid interviews, isn't it?
The women tell us. Did you have a six-pack?
Ah, righty. Like a righty was gold too. You're like a gangster. Fucking hell.
Let's have a look at
That's
them.
big gold too.
Righty, what would you change?
Yeah,
You don't need to change.
Temper in it. You got a temper, haven't you?
but that's not part of what we're talking.
Yeah, we don't
physicality,
physically
innit?
are.
You know what I always do like black people with lighter eyes. I probably have lighter eyes, green eyes.
Better dancer?
I can't get any better than I am.
Yeah, I don't know.
You saw the moves.
No,
you saw the moves.
You've got nice eyes, though.
I don't like them. I'd like different colour eyes.
Right, take United and City out of it. Which team do you want to win the FA Cup this season?
Oh.
So who's left in again?
Take United and City out?
Yeah,
I'd go Palace.
I go Villa.
Villa,
I was
yeah.
thinking Villa.
Villa.
Who else? I'm trying to think who's in it. I can't remember who's in it.
Millwall are in it.
Bournemouth are still in it. Newcastle are in it. I'd go Newcastle or Villa.
You know what?
Newcastle.
I'd go Palace or Newcastle.
I'd go Newcastle.
I'll go Villa.
Because I want
Villa.
Liverpool to win the other final. But I'd love to see
I'll
Newcastle.
go
Are
with
you going to
Villa.
that
I like,
final?
yeah, a bit of Villa.
I'm going to go Palace.
Oh, you working it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just
Trying to win
going.
their love back.
It's not. I don't want to
Right,
win their
you
love
look
back.
older
You know
on
what?
there.
You know what? It's not trying to win their love
You
back.
look older on there.
No. You know what?
Righty?
Roy said I'm trying to win their love. I'm not trying to win their love back. It's just that when they deserve something in that year.
What is up with you
Was there a bit of
today?
friction between you and Palace or
No,
no?
not really.
I thought you were going to say between me and him. Hey, come on, you've been edgy
last
all
question.
morning.
Have
I
you
picked him
got
up this
Oscars?
morning. You could sense it, that negative
it.
energy.
No, I haven't.
It is, because
No,
you're
I
working
didn't.
tonight. You can't do too
No, I
good.
didn't.
Tonight?
Yeah, women's
Women's.
game.
We've got Spain.
England playing
We've got
Spain.
Spain tonight.
Right. Watch him tonight and see his face tonight. It'll be hard work.
It won't
Why
be
is that
hard.
on the
work.
Premier League now?
Right, the Oscars are this weekend.
Right?
Right.
What's your favourite film been in the last 12 months? I think I'm going to be useless at this because I've not seen many.
Well, they got a list of the films that have come out in the last 12 months.
You're gonna see
Robbie
Robbie
Williams.
Williams.
Yeah, Robbie, or the Bob Dylan one.
there any
Yeah.
options
What are they
there?
called?
I watched the
Any
Bob Dylan
options?
one.
Give
I
us
saw
some
it.
options
I'll tell
out.
you
Anybody?
which one
Any options? Oscars last 12 months?
It's probably the Bob Dylan, Tim Chalamet one.
It's
Who?
good,
Did you
yeah.
have you seen the Bob Dylan one?
Not seen that one.
it.
I watched. I did watch
Conclave.
Better Man. Conclave as well.
Conclave.
Yeah.
Conclave.
I
that
enjoyed
fine?
it.
What's it about?
That's about the Pope.
The Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you haven't seen it.
No.
No, I'm getting.
We should have a movie night. We should all go to the movies one night. Yeah.
I love going. I've been going the last
big
few
screen.
weeks. These
popcorn.
big massive
Yeah, we'll
chairs.
just go to your house.
You've done the way that they go back.
Oh, they've been on cinemas.
Yeah. So the
I'm gonna go
weirdest
and
thing
see-
is, you know, like obviously you're going in the dark, don't you? You're trying to find your seat, and you get the big chair, you've got your big drink, you've got all your party, and you're just there. You're like
Brilliant.
a big kid,
Take your
and then
shoes
someone
off,
goes,
yeah.
"You're in my seat." And you go, oh no! Oh, you gotta go. Sorry, put the chair up, get all your gear, and you're like, "Oh no!"
You moved here.
Yeah, I do. There, yeah.
What's
Have
the
you
gal?
just gone like that as well?
Go to the next one.
Oh, you want another one?
Right.
Ben White.
He's on a schedule.
Ben White is reportedly speaking to Thomas Tuchel about coming back into the England fold. Should players be able to opt in and opt out of international squads? Roy, you've obviously opted in and opted out before. So you...
I think Ben Wright every right to opt in and opt out.
Wouldn't phrase it that
if-
way.
Especially
I suppose
if the
they
people
can.
involved.
Maybe I think if players make a
Yeah,
If he's
decision.
had a fallout with another member of
Yeah.
staff, it was well documented. I think he had a fallout with Steve Holland. Did
Do you know what I never agreed with? I never agreed with retiring from international football, mate.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I'm
did.
still not retired.
I didn't.
If England want me, I'll still go and play
I always
now.
felt that you come in at the beginning, you get in, you sort of might not make the team, and then you sort of fade out at the end, and you should be retired, not retire. So that ultimately you just don't get picked anymore. If you're playing for your club, my view was you're available for your country. That was my view. Obviously, I didn't get picked in the last 2 or 3 years at United, but... I didn't-
What about if you retire and they're like all together? Do you know what I mean? You're doing that like our kind of.
But retiring for certain
full
players,
retirement.
yeah, is it at that level? Is more of a mental thing, isn't it? I
It's
can leave
resting.
that to the.
I think to prolong your career with your club, usually.
Well, obviously, yeah, it would help that, and it help.
But what if you felt that you should have been getting picked at certain times and you weren't, and in the end you're like,
But there's an element of it's your country, you're there to serve it, and you play for them if they pick you, and if you don't pick you, then that to me was how I. Maybe it's because
so you'd have gone to England for 15 years and not played a game?
I like to think I would, but I
would not.
I wasn't in that position, Carragher. Like, to be fair, I know that you obviously have
Tony DeRigo
had a different.
something like that.
Yeah, but I think I see sub goalkeepers that did it for a long time. Tim Flowers supported
Different for
Dave
keepers.
different for a keeper.
Different for
for
keepers.
years. You know what I mean? And didn't get a lot of games. So good people have
But
gone
you,
and.
but you can see why people do get frustrated. If you're playing for
Yeah,
your
yeah.
country, you're obviously generally playing for your club.
Yeah.
So to be playing every week and then travel for years, maybe sometimes you have to tolerate for a few months. And I can see exactly why players would get fed up with it.
It's tough when you're playing every week and
when
then
I
you go
retired from
blank. Yeah.
when I stopped playing for England, the reason I stopped was John Terry and Rio Ferdinand ahead of me, but they were much better players than me. They were amazing, as good as anything in the world at the time. But I couldn't play any better for Liverpool. I got Liverpool's Player of the Year in the 2 years we got to the Champions League final over a 2 or 3 year period. So I think Rio might have been out. John, someone was out and someone else got picked. And listen, fair play, there were good players who came in. But then I said, oh no, I want to concentrate on Liverpool. It was almost like if I'm...
What age were you then, Jamie?
29. And then, you know what? Not frustrated me, but so Steve McLaren come and met me in fair play to him. He's the England manager. He come to meet me face to face in Liverpool. Listen, can I call you? He says, I'm going to play you in the next game. And I was like,
Really?
no, I feel like I've bullied you to play. I haven't said I'm not.
It felt awkward, James.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to play now because I've said. I'm like, oh no, I wouldn't want to. He's playing, you know what I mean? So I was a bit like, oh no, that's me done.
Especially if he played you in that one, then you don't play in the next one. It's like it is like.
Yeah, it felt a bit. I felt a bit awkward, but then what might have felt a little bit, well, didn't feel as awkward. I ended up going back, right? Because Capello wanted me to go back, and Stevie was just raving about Capello when he come back.
Right.
And I didn't say I want to play for England now they're in the World Cup, but the last weekend of a season before the World Cup, I think 2 centre-backs went down, you know, like sort of injured. So at the last minute they called me. But I'm thinking like Capello, Baresi, Maldini. I'm thinking, I've just got to see what this fella's about.
And you're also a man of principle, obviously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's me country, right?
Yes.
It's me country. So I thought, okay, I'm going. I'm with South Africa.
Did the players give you... It's benefited, like Jamie Vardy, I would say, it's benefited him, hasn't it? Retiring from England and then kind of his longevity now.
No one I know what you're
saying. Some players don't enjoy it. Some players don't enjoy it.
Like banter, I mean.
Yeah. I think they were...
Pick and choose.
I think he's come back with something else.
Right, that's it. That's it. End of episode. Well done, everybody.